Hey everybody, today I want to talk about Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. This is the second book in the Children of Blood and Bone series, or it's also called the Orisha series, which is a book series about this fantasy African inspired country where there is an evil king who's gotten rid of all magic in the land, and all the people who used to have magic are now suppressed. Then there's this girl named Zili who is going to try to bring magic back in the first book. It was very well received last year, so you've probably heard about it. A little while ago, the second book has finally come out, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. It has taken a while because the release date just kept being pushed back, and now it's finally here. So I read it and I had a lot of complex feelings about this. Overall, it was still a good book, I think. There was definitely still the epic adventure that we all know and love about the series. I love the world building and I love most of the characters. I love how the story is built up and I love just the epicness about it. That's all the things I love, but I also have a couple of things that I didn't completely enjoy that I really need to talk about. So that's why I'm doing this separate spoilery review and discussion video, because there's really not much I can say about this book that I want to say without spoiling things. So that's why I'm doing this video. I really need to talk about some things that just have been on my mind about this book. It's just a couple of things that I wasn't completely certain about. I really need to sort of express it, and that's what I'm going to do today. So yeah, as I said, it's going to be a spoilery video, so don't watch this if you haven't read Children of Virtue and Vengeance already. Of course you can if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, I'm going to talk all about spoilers now. Don't watch it if you don't want to. There are some things I need to talk about, so that's what's going to happen now. And yeah, I hope you sort of enjoy it. So, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. Where do I start? Where the first book really was a quest to bring back magic, this book is definitely all about a war. A war between the Magi and the nobility. And also like the Titans, I don't know how to pronounce it, but like all the nobles who got a white streak in their hair and now also have magic. That's one of the first things that I want to talk about. I really don't understand the whole thing of the Titans because it wasn't completely explained. Like, it was explained that they have stronger magic and they don't need incantations to use it, but then also it's sort of very destructible for themselves, like it's very dangerous to use it. I feel like we haven't fully gotten there what it exactly means, but maybe that is something that will be saved for the next book. I'm not completely sure. And that's just something that I thought of this book and the world building in general. I still love it, but sometimes it got a bit confusing. Sort of like, what exactly are the powers of certain magi's? What exactly is happening? Overall, I did love it and I did find it engaging, but sometimes it just got confusing and I wasn't completely sure what was happening. So yeah, that's sort of my feelings on the world building, but then most of my feelings are all about the characters. First of all, Inan is still alive. Wasn't surprised by that. I completely expected that because I wasn't even sure he was like actually dead in the first book, which was not the case. He's alive and he becomes king in this book. What I would have loved is to have seen some character progress or like character development for him, because what really annoyed me is that, again, throughout this book, Inan is all about wanting to be a good king, wanting to sort of protect the Magi, but also want to get rid of magic, and just on and off and on and off. Then he wants to, you know, take care of everybody, but then he's like, I have to be ruthless in this war to win it, to take care of my people. And that just went on too long. Like, I really felt like he needed to take a decisive point, but he was just conflicted the entire time. And of course that is, you know, human. People are conflicted, but I think because he already did that in the first book so many times, like he wants to help Zili, but then he sees magic is dangerous, and then he wants to help again, and then it just goes on and off too many times. I felt like at this point we needed to have a certain decision. I guess he does that by the very end of the book with you know, abolishing the monarchy, which is also something that I expected to happen. Like, I was certain that that was going to happen at some point, because, you know, usually in these types of books monarchies are evil. So yeah, I guess he finally made his decision at the end, but I felt like it just took too long. I didn't need, you know, another entire book of Inan not being certain. And then the same thing with Zili. A little bit less. I do love Zili because especially now that her trauma is very well portrayed about losing her father and her feeling guilty about it. But then also I felt like she wasn't completely consistent the entire time. Sometimes she was ruthless and wanted to kill, you know, all the nobility. Sometimes she was like, no, we need to be careful. I just... Again, I do think I didn't mind it as much with Zili, because with her it very much comes from trauma and anger because she lost her father. She's very angry at Inan because he betrayed her, so I can sort of understand it more. That's okay. But I felt like she was less engaging than in the first book, just a tiny bit less, but again, maybe that's me. I do really love the portrayal of her drama. Then we have Zane, who had literally nothing to do the entire book, like nothing. He was just there to be a love interest for Amari. He was really sidelined and I did not like it at all because I just loved his role in the first one, and here he's there and he has, you know, an opinion. Not even that much. He doesn't even have that many opinions. He's just there as a love interest for Amari. And also like the sibling relationship between Zili and Zane. We get like one moment and then it's over, which is also something that I really loved about the first book, and here we don't have it. So, you know, not much to say about him because he's barely there. But then we get to the character that I really need to talk about, and that is Amari. Oh my god, I was fully team Amari until, you know, she decided to kill an entire village. I was like, what the hell is happening? I mean, I wasn't completely team Amari also before that, you know, from the point onwards that she thinks Inan has betrayed her. I was like, what the hell is happening? This feels so out of character. You know, they do try to build towards it with her being conflicted and her being like she wants to be a good queen and take care of her people, but that she goes like fully genocide, like she kills an entire village. I was like, what the hell is happening? This makes no sense to me. Like, she's like, these people are supposed to be a sacrifice for a better country, but I don't know, like Amari wouldn't do that. Like, I feel the book is just, you know, pushing it throughout the story that she wants to do everything that's possible to save the country and become queen and be a better queen, and then she kills an entire village, and I was like, what is this? No, it really wasn't doing it for me. Yeah, that was one plot point I could have done without, and I do know that it served to, you know, show us that even sweet Amari is corrupted by the throne, but I'm like, no, I don't buy it. It's so weird that she decides to kill an entire village, and I do know that it's like a last resort for her, but still, it's just all that just to kill her mother and brother, which is also something like that I could have understood, that she wants to kill them, that she would go that far, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like so much of this book. Yeah, I was so team Amari. Like, she wanted peace, she wanted to communicate with Inan, and I was like, oh, so much of this is just bad communication. Well, that's not true, because a lot of it is also years of anger towards each other of both sides, and the Magi being suppressed and tortured and whatever. So okay, I will say that it's not just bad communication. I would also not completely trust the people who have mistreated me for the entire time. That's logical. But again, this is a plot point that I thought went on for too long. Amari trying to convince everybody that we can trust Inan, and then them not trusting Inan, and then Inan being, I can make a peace with the Magi, and then they refusing them refusing it, and then Inan saying, okay, we have to, you know, murder everybody and save the country. It's just that plot went on for too long. I was just a bit tired of it. Again, I do really love the full-blown war in this book and seeing it from both sides and seeing them making decisions, but I felt like that certain plot point, it just went on for too much with Inan, but also with, you know, the Ilaika, is that what it's called? The army of the Magi. I feel like it did not need to go on that long, but maybe that's just me. Maybe some people really love that aspect, because again, I do understand that it's very complex and there's a lot of, you know, hard feelings towards each other, especially with the Magi who have been treated horribly. But then of course we also have the villagers without magic who also become victims, especially when Amari just kills the entire village. But, you know, I don't know. That's the main thing that I feel conflicted about, because I do understand some of the things, but also I felt like it went on for too long and just from one side till the other, from one side till the other. I feel like some people needed to make a decisive point of view, and yeah, it got me annoyed, especially because in the first book was so long, and I feel like I'm doing a very good job of talking about this and talking about my emotions towards this. I don't know, it's just so hard because I do love this book and I do love the series, but I have so many feelings towards it. It's just, And yeah, Amari killing that entire village, and then they connect their magic with the help of the Moonstone and a blood sacrifice from Mama Akba. And that's also again something that I didn't completely understand the world building of and the logistics of, but you know, I don't need to completely understand everything that's going on, but this just felt a bit, I don't know. But because of their connecting magic, they can bring back everybody to life, and I felt that was a bit cheating, because, you know, everyone Amari kills is being brought back to life, and I feel like that was done so that we can still read about Amari without completely hating her. I wouldn't say root for her, because killing an entire village makes it very hard to now root for her, but by bringing everybody back to life, they sort of rectify her mistake, and even though she still did it, this makes it possible to still follow Amari in the next book and, I don't know, not completely hate her, I guess, but I think it felt like cheating. I think it would have been so much more impactful if they left it like that, with all the villagers dead and Amari having to deal with that. I think that it would have been better, but yeah, it felt a bit, you know, everybody's brought back to life. Amari makes a mistake and it's, you know, it's rectified when other people make a mistake. That's also not the case, so I didn't really like that. But yeah, that's just, I think that's two of the main things I didn't like. The sort of going back and forth on wanting peace and wanting to kill each other, and I didn't like that big plot twist with Amari. And also one last thing that I really need to talk about is Ruin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but you know, Zeely gets a new love interest somehow, and I'm not buying it. I did not feel it between them. I mean, I was sort of expecting it because they already have a bit of chemistry in the first book. But in this one, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sure about what Ruin's deal was. Like, one point he's getting angry and he wants his money, and then he's going to help them just because he wants to, and then they care about each other, and then he says that he loves her, and I wasn't completely sold on their romance. I didn't know what his deal was because we see him at the palace at some point, and he's talking about blowing off a deal, like the deal is off, the plan is off. I just wasn't sure, and I felt like I don't mind a mystery, I don't mind being not completely sure, but I just wasn't buying him completely as a character and as a love interest. I felt like, you know, I could see what they were going for with his character, and I loved what we saw, but I felt like it wasn't completely worked out as much as it could have been. So I wasn't sure about that whole relationship, and again, you know, a sort of love triangle, not completely, because Zeely pretty much hates Inan, but she also still has some feelings for him because she's not really able to kill him twice. But yeah, that was just Rowan. I think he has the potential of becoming a great character, but he wasn't there yet. And then the final thing, the ending of the book is so sudden. Like, they take over the palace and then suddenly Zeely gets drugged, I guess, and they're on this boat. A complete out of nowhere twist ending, and I did not like it because I'm just a bit sick of books feeling the need to end like that. It's not necessary to end a book on a weird twist and cliffhanger. That's just, you know, I feel like books do that nowadays, especially with series. So you're like, oh my god, that ending, I want to read the next book, what's going to happen? This book did not need that. Children of Virtue and Vengeance, like that ending, it came weirdly out of nowhere. We knew I don't know, but we knew he had a sort of other plan. We knew he wasn't completely honest. But that ending, like at the final page, suddenly they're at a ship. Where's Inan? I don't know, but that's just so weird, and it wasn't necessary. Just, and I don't know, that I really did not like that. Again, something with book series in general, you don't need to end on a twist cliffhanger ending. You can end it semi not closed, but you know, still not, you don't need a twist ending and a cliffhanger to make people interested in the next book. I feel that's a bit sort of a trick. I don't want to be tricked like that. I just want a good book. I don't need such a weird thing happening at the final 2 pages. So I hope I sort of, I don't know, talked about it and made my message clear what I thought about it. It's just, this video is just, I don't know, me wanting to talk about it and not being completely sure about it. And it's, I don't know, I never had such a book where I have so many weird feelings about it, because I loved certain things and I could understand certain things, but I also really did not like certain things, and so, you know, I needed this video to vent my frustrations. This was like book therapy for me. But yeah, I really hope you still sort of liked it, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this book as well, and what you thought of it, if you agree with me on certain things, and you know, what you think of certain characters and plot points. Please talk to me about it. I would love to hear it. And then I really hope, again, you enjoyed this video. And if you did, maybe go subscribe or share or like it, because as always, I would really appreciate it. And it would also really help my channel. And hopefully I will see you again very soon in my next video. Bye!